So this came out. Yeah. It's bad. Let's talk about it. So, a couple days ago, Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story came out. Not as, generally pumped for this movie because I grew up as a G.I. Joe fan, played with G.I. Joe kids. Me and my brother used to do it all the time, so me and him were both excited for this new fresh take on the G.I. Joe franchise. Considering the last attempt, well, did not go very well at all. These movies were bad. But the Snake Eyes in them was, Ray Park, great martial artist, played the character perfectly, kept, stayed to the lore of the character, didn't talk, didn't come out of costume. So they captured the lore. Well, obviously, this takes place before his G.I. Joe days, and they got Henry Golding to play him, so, that means, she's going to talk and not wear his helmet because you don't get Henry Golding and cover him up with a face mask, but it's just before that happens anyway, so not a big deal. What happens? And it's like, hopefully this movie does great, is good, and it does great. The trailers didn't look too bad, and it would lead, to more G.I. Joe movies down as we move forward. It failed to deliver on those missions. Bad camera angles that made the fight scenes look kind of like not that good for like a martial arts ninja movie. Story wise was okay, except for but does have some massive plot holes and things that make zero sense at all. If you know nothing of G.I. Joe, you might enjoy this movie. I mean, it's an okay popcorn flick. If you do know G.I. Joe, this is a effing awful movie. Initially, I wanted to give it, after I saw it, I wanted to give it a 6, but I was stuck at 5, and now it's been a few days, and I thought about it more, and I don't even know if I can give it a 5. It might be like a 4. It's just so much stuff about it just sucked terribly. So I'm gonna hang it at 4, and after this, this is pretty much where I have to end right there with the basic non-spoilery stuff, because after this we're going to go just straight into more of the spoilers. And yeah, so you have 3 seconds to click or pause or whatever if you don't want spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I get they're gonna change some stuff to modernize it and to go with the lore from the popular theory of the character. And supposedly they came out and said that this was, kind of based off the initial Marvel Comics origin of the character that they came up with, back in like 1984. Very loosely based off that comic. Extremely loosely based. Marvel comic, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are in the military together, and then Snake Eyes ends up going. I think it had been like. Was there someone else that did another retelling of the story too? I can't remember what it was. somehow, they end up going in, training together at Storm Shadow's clan, and Snake Eyes becomes the favorite student. And then I think one thing had that where they made it look like Storm Shadow killed the sensei, and I think that may have been the old movie or something like that. Ends up leading to a big fallout between the two. So that's supposed to be what the movie's going to explore, the option of Snake. I think in the comics, I believe it was Cobra killed the sensei, made it look like it was Storm Shadow, so somehow that led to Storm Shadow joining Cobra, which also was kind of weak. I think maybe the other movies had it like he grew up. They found he was an orphan kid and was raised by the sensei and just became a better student. And Storm Shadow's jealousy pushed him away. I believe it was. I think that was in the other movie. I know that was somewhere. I remember. So here's how this movie decides to tackle it. So we start off with Snake as a kid with his father, and they're in this cabin in the woods. And they drop a couple little keywords like safe house and all this stuff. So it looks like his dad's obviously in hiding. Well, they get found by this dude. I don't remember his name. And he has this thing where he would roll dice. He would have his victim roll dice, and whatever they rolled, depending on if they lived or died. The father rolled the dice. He got Snake Eyes. So he died. So I'm not exactly sure what was the winning one. I don't know what was never established. What did you have to get to supposedly win? But we find out no one can win the game anyways later in the movie. So he rolls Snake Eyes. They decide they're going to kill his dad. He escapes as a kid. They kill the dad. They burn down the cabin. Boom. Then we jump forward. Snake Eyes is now a cage fighter. Just going down fighting for money. He's taught himself, I guess, somehow the art of fighting. I guess where he's taught himself a lot of his ninja fighting skills, because there's not a lot of that going on at the next job. So he's already an established fighter by some way, shape, or form. Nobody knows. No reason how. After the fight, he's met by a dude. The bad guy named, what was his name in the movie? Kente? Is that the bad guy? Yeah. Kente, played by Takehiro Hiro. For the most part, a lot of the acting was fine. His acting, he did a pretty good job as the bad guy. So he approaches him and like, I need a guy like you in my squad, and I'll help you find the person that killed your father, kind of, blah 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 story stuff. So then we skip to the dock scene on the docks, and he's coming to work, and we run across some other characters there, and we meet another character. It's where we meet Tommy, played by Andrew Koji. Tommy, of course, obviously G.I. Joe lore is the real name of Storm Shadow. On the docks, and then Snake Eyes goes, and he's like gutting fish and stuffing them with guns. Which kind of makes you like, you went to this guy because he had a specific set of skills that you required, so his job is stuffing guns in a fish. Okay. Whatever. But then I guess the Yakuza, they have a big meeting, and they're talking about doing the famous speech, someone's loyalty, and someone's betrayed us, and a bunch of them grab Tommy, and they're threatening, and they push Tommy to the ground and holding him at, sword point or gun point or something like that. And then Kente walks in. It's like, I know you. I found out, and there ends up being that they are cousins. And Tommy was next in line. How much does this get revealed right here? I can't remember how much gets revealed in this and the next scene. Well, it turns out they know each other. So, and he gives Snake a gun, and he wants Snake to shoot and kill Tommy. Prove his loyalty. Snake can't do it. He ends up attacking everybody, freeing Tommy, and they fight to escape. Beating and killing, assumingly killing people along the way here. Fighting big masses of these part groups. Tommy ends up going for Kente, fails, and Kente gets away. And they barely escape with their lives. Snake gets wounded in the time, and there was, cool. this was kind of a cool scene, except for you have this they're doing this up close camera and all the fight scenes, and you can't really see any of the fights. So there's like the camera style was completely terrible throughout the whole movie, which ruins a lot of the fight scenes. But what looks like these could have been a pretty cool fight scene. Goes back to the old trope is we know all these people have guns, but yet they're fighting with sticks and swords. Just pop, 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 pop. Just shoot these. So can't give guys guns and then not have them use them. That's kind of stupid. He's like, hey, we got all these guns. We're trafficking guns. Here, Snake, here's a gun. And I've got guns. Here's one. I want you to shoot the dude. Now nobody has guns. So, okay. But it ends up being Snake gets hurt, and the cops show up, and I guess in time to keep Tommy and Snake from getting killed. Next thing we know is they're on a fancy jet, and that's where we kind of find out that Tommy is a high-up Japanese person in a ninja clan. I can't remember the name of their clan. What was the name of their clan? The Asagi and something. The Arasakagi clan. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Sorry. He's like a big high-up member of that. And you take his Snake back to the Japanese base of operations in Japan. So he's like the next in line to lead the clan, with his grandmother clearly leading. Kente was their cousin, and he tried to do something to take power or something like that, and ended up getting caught and banned, and he was banned by Tommy. So, you guys are cousins. You ban the dude, and then you go undercover in his organization to get to him? Doesn't sound like a very smart plan there. Just saying. The guy knows what you look like. It's not really a smart idea to try and go undercover. Just saying. But, so he vouches for Snake, and he wants Snake to join the thing, become his right-hand man, and all this stuff. And this is where we also meet the head of security, Kyo, played by Haruka Abe. I know, I'm sorry if I'm butchering names. I'm probably... And she's all against about all that stuff. Supposedly, but they end up saying that he's got to pass 3 tests to get his way in the clan and all that stuff. So obviously he's joining the ninja clan, and you're going to teach him to become a ninja. No, it's not really much of it all of the ninja stuff. I mean, there's like a montage of like doing 2 little training things, and then he's already up for the first test. We get introduced, obviously. Now, I like to say they used a stereotype trope because they have a blind master, played by the famous Peter Mensah. But blind master is actually from G.I. Joe. This is actually part of their... So they did use this. This is part of his actual story. And then there was a hard master, played by Ikio Ua, famous from the Raid movies. Those guys, both of the masters, also really well acted. Their jobs, they did a really good job with that. So the first test is obviously here's a bowl of water. You hold a bowl of water. You got to take my bowl without spilling any water from either of our bowls. And so it's a test of more of loyalty and respect and honor. So obviously he has a couple times to try, and he's trying to fight and win, and he keeps losing, and ends up being the answer is to humbly, can I have your bowl, sir? Okay, sure, you can have my bowl. So when you see that kind of stuff happen in these martial arts movies all the time, you always have like a little stuff like that. So he passes the first test, and so whatever. So then there's a scene where it shows him just walking to the garage, like, "Hey, Tommy said I could borrow a bike." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, here's the keys." Just give him the keys, and he gets to go take off into the city on a bike. So this place, which we've also established, has super high security, massive security, and the head of security person already doesn't trust this dude, but they just let him get on a bike and just take off on his own. Okay, so he goes to this shady area and meets up with some goons that we see before, and then all of a sudden he's meeting up with Kente, the bad guy, and we find out that Snake Eyes is working with the bad guy, that this was all the allude that's why he wanted Snake, so he could get him close to Tommy, so he could infiltrate the clan to get this jewel that they supposedly have hidden on there. So this whole thing was an elaborate setup. The whole, hey, I'm going to put you guys together. You help him. You're going to rescue him, help him. So this whole thing was a ruse of him like saving Tommy's life. It was supposed to, and escaping, which ended up costing Kente. Supposedly a lot of his guys got killed. This whole escape, that almost went backfired, and they almost got killed. The cops supposedly raided the place. That's a little, not a very good plan. I mean, you got obviously your basic of operations out there got raided by the cops. You got a lot of your men killed. Not a very well orchestrated plan there. I mean, granted, there supposedly was a part where I guess they were supposed to escape a lot sooner because they were supposed to get on a boat and escape. And Tommy ends up seeing Kente and going against that plan, so that kind of ruined it. But yeah, so the whole plan though is they're wanting him to, so they wanted him to get close to Tommy so he could infiltrate and steal this jewel. And then for that, they're gonna give him the man who killed his father. They're gonna help him, get the man who killed his father. This is where he gets the dice. Or is it later? I think this is where I'm trying to remember because what scene it was. It was where to prove that they found the guy, they give. Yeah, I think it was a scene where they give him the dice, the guy's dice. And we find out Snake starts rolling the dice when he's back at the dojos resting, and it always comes up Snake Eyes. The dice were loaded, so it's always going. The person who rolls it always loses and gets killed. Of course. So then Snake is finding out that there's a special jewel that the clan protects, and it's under a special safe that's DNA activated. Blah blah blah. So he's kind of been snooping around, kind of find out where it is under guard, and he gets kind of caught here and there. And see, I'm trying to remember I'm kind of. So yeah, whatever. So he is technically the bad guy, and he's also cocky and asshole about his abilities, and obviously coming in. The second test was obviously one where he has to relive his father's death and from the Blind Master. More stereotypical martial arts movie stuff. But somewhere along this point, though, is the Ninja Clan with all their high-tech stuff that they have, because they have a lot of super high-tech, I'm telling you. Find out that Kente is back in Japan and doing some operations, so they plan a sting operation to go get him and take him out. And it's Tommy and Snake and Kiki, I don't remember how to even say that. And the head of security chick, and they all go, and they all kind of separate, and Snake's taking out some guys, but then he brings in some of the higher guys, and they kind of do a nod, and one guy, he just pretty much turns around and leaves. Make it look like he's kind of trying to help him. What's cool in this scene is at one point there's a crate full of weapons. When they open the lid, you get a brief glimpse of the Cobra logo. So first introduction of one of the our two main factions here. So oh, that's cool. They kind of like a little brief, a little kind of tying in. Hey, there's this other thing going on here, but they didn't heavily focus on it. So that's kind of cool. So it ends up being is Tommy and Kente are fighting on the rooftops, and Tommy's about to lose. So instead of Snake Eyes going in and taking out Kente, he cuts this thing so it falls in between the two, leading Kente's escape, so Kente can escape. Kind of looks like Snake's, so Snake also kind of I'm working with you guys. But from there, then they jump completely in and do focus on the Cobra logo. It's oh, look, here's Cobra. Well, who's Cobra? Cobra is this terrorist organization. So Storm Shadow's Ninja Clan knows everything about Cobra. And now to find out they're involved with everything, you're like, oh, well, I guess we need to inform the Joes. Who's the Joes? Joes are military operation that's out there to take out Cobra. So the Ninja Clan knows G.I. Joe and Cobra exist. They know the Ninja Clan is familiar with them. In fact, even he's able to give a Scarlet a little ring on the phone there. And she's like, oh yeah, I got some information about that. Yeah, the Baroness has been spotted over there, and while she's attacked by some Cobra guys in I guess a bathroom. Which takes him out. So we get introduced to Samara Weaving's Scarlet. I was kind of looking forward to this because I like some of the other stuff I've seen Samara Weaving in, but yeah, I'm going to say she did not do a great Scarlet. Her Scarlet felt really, kind of seemed really bad, acting-wise. Did not to mention we'll talk about, limitedness. But so they call Scarlet and blah, 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 find out about this stuff. And we're all setting up for moving closer to this final test that could kill him. The Snake has to pass or die. Meanwhile, this whole time, Snake is starting to build this relationship with the head of security chick, Kyo, and I'm also going to come out and say that her acting also was not great. Tommy, excellent. Henry Golding Jr. is playing for what was written for these guys. They're playing it. They're acting it very well. They're just really, the story is just really weird. They did really well with what was given to them. I'll say that. Samara Weaving's acting was bland. The head of security chick's acting was also kind of forced and didn't feel legit. Bad guy was good. So it's all setting up, and he's feeling all like this big thing. So he borrows the bike again. This time the head of security chick tries to tail him, and he loses her. So she tails him. He ditches her and loses her. And he goes into this big top secret base thing with this fancy little elevator thing. And they say he's done. He's not going to do it. And that's when we get the Baroness shows up. She's played by Ursula Corbro, maybe. And she's all right. I didn't really have. She was okay. I don't say she was great, and she wasn't, but she wasn't terrible. And she reveals that they've caught the guy that killed his dad, and they're locked up for him. And if he don't complete the mission, they're going to let him go. They'll never catch him. But as long as he completes the mission, they'll give it to him. So he's, I want revenge. And so he goes back. Chick don't even, not very, So nothing about him like taking the bike again, going into town and ditching her, and no big things about that still. Storm Shadow also has gifted him his special sword that he's, this famous Snake Eye sword. So we get to the final test. Final test is they lower Snake Eyes into this big pit, and he's supposed to stand on this tile and clear his heart and his soul and all this stuff like that. Stands on this tile, and these gates open up, and out come these giant snakes. Which they make sure, since the bad guys so the good guys have these giant snakes in a pit. While the bad guy organization is called Cobra, and his name is Snake Eyes, so you gotta have some, so I guess the director thought Snake Eyes means you must have some kind of tail with snakes. So at least somebody that's watching is like, oh, those are giant anacondas. Not cobras, don't get mixed up with the cobras, but so make sure you let us know they're giant anacondas. So he's unable to pass the test. The snakes go to start attacking him because he's obviously holding some stuff back. He's A, working for the bad guys, and B, he's out for vengeance. So the snakes go to try and kill him. The security chick jumps in there and saves him so he can escape. He's obviously she's now in trouble with the clan, and he's now banished and has to leave. So now this is where he's got to get his plan in. He goes to apologize to Storm Shadow, like, oh, you can have your sword back. Oh, no. So they do the whole little Blood Brothers thing. But Snake makes sure to use a napkin to get Storm Shadow's blood. So then he can enact his whole, he also did a little test run does a little test so everybody thinks so they go to check the stone so he can see how it works. Always hiding in a tree. They all leave. Then he jumps in. He goes to uses the DNA to steal the stone. He gets caught by the head of security chick. They have a little brief fight, and he escapes. And they're hunting. Now they're hunting him down there. They're to kill him for betraying them. So yeah, Snake Eyes is the bad guy still. So he meets with the people, and they give him the stone, which the stone is this magical thing where I don't really know how it works. Dude can just hold it, name it to people, and vaporize people, and sometimes they have flames shoot out of things. Some magical stone. Okay, it's G.I. Joe. It's this thing about military guys, bad military guys, good military guys will fight each other with special tanks and planes and stuff like that. But now we have magic. So they take that. The guy's like, I get to kill the clan first. Then I'll give it to you, Baroness. And they say, hey, the guy's in the building behind us. So he goes in the building. The guy's all chained up. And he's doing his little revenge thing. We'll kill you here, roll the dice, and roll the dice. And he finds out that the dude that killed his dad worked for Cobra. And he's one of their assassins. Until they needed him to get Snake Eyes, but then they betrayed him because they, needed him for Snake Eyes. So they turned their back on him and captured him, and offered him as a sacrifice to Snake Eyes. Cobra was the one that just wanted his father dead. So he's distraught. So he lets the guy free and escape. I mean, the guy still killed your dad, though. I mean, he still worked for Cobra. Yes, it may have been Cobra pointing the fingers, but he did work for Cobra, and he did kill your dad. And Cobra turned on him just to get because it's Cobra, they're going to turn on him just so they can get you to do what they want you to do. But hey, that's okay. But now Cobra's the bad guy, so now he knows he's mistaken, and now he's got to go and stop them from killing the clan. So he's chasing them on the bike, and Storm Shadow and the other chick are tracking him because now they can track his bike. Which I don't know where why weren't they doing it the first 2 times. But whatevs. So they're chasing him to kill him. Meanwhile, then there's some of the Yakuza guys all sneaking up, trying to sneak up behind them. Which leads to this big car battle scene, highway battle scene, which at parts where it could have been pretty damn cool. But also leads to them realizing that Snake Eyes is now on their side. Oh, he's on our side. He's going to pay for stuff. Yeah, but he's on our side now. So let's go. Meanwhile, the bad guy is now at the base of the Ninja Clan and blowing things up with the crystals, killing people, blowing them up. And everybody's, uniting to fight against him. At some point, Scarlet just drops in out of nowhere to join the fight. She only showed up for like one. I don't even think it was 10-minute long, about 5-minute long scene before when we first met her. So now she shows up and she's, hey, I'm here to fight. Got my crossbow, my guns. I'm good to go. Had a little showdown with her and the Baroness, and of course the bad guy captures the leader of the clan, the old lady. And is like doing the whole, could just kill her, but he's trying to get her to surrender to him or whatnot. Scarlet also was captured, and the Baroness goes to get the stone because he's already won, and now he's double crosses Cobra and the Baroness. So now this guy's double crossed Cobra. Baroness and Scarlet kind of agree to a mutual work together thing for now, just to get out of the situation. So now they're working together. Meanwhile, our other 3 guys have now finally got through all that. They've made their way back to the dojo. I don't know what you would call it. And they find the 2 masters. They're obviously still running free. They join forces. Meanwhile, so everybody's still working with Snake here. So Snake stays on our side now, so it's cool. Then the girls also, they unite together. So they're planning something to use against the dude with the stone. The girls form a plan and they start, revolting back with the old lady. So these 2. So it leads to them all our characters uniting together to face off against the bad guy. I kid you not. So the first time that Snake Eyes meets Scarlet, he's like walking up to her, he's like, "Hey, yo, Joe." Like that was the corniest, cheesiest way to work in the Yo Joe's tagline. You know, the Joe's always, that's their battle cry. I couldn't think of the word. Yo Joe. That was like so badly corny and forced. I'm like, why would he just randomly say that to her? It's like that. It was so corny. So they pull off their little trick, which causes the main dude to, like, they trick him with like this thing full of explosives, which knocks him back, makes him drop the crystal. And the fucker ruckus, Storm Shadow is able to get his hands on the crystal. And as the guy's trying to like run through this building, he like zaps the building with the crystal and blows it up, trying to take out the bad guy who just killed a bunch of people, his people, which leads to his own people like, "What are you doing? You can't do that!" Y'all getting mad at him, like, what for using? They're all mad at him for using the crystal, and we're not supposed to use the crystal. Homeboy here just killed a ton of your people. He grabbed the crystal and tried to use it to stop the bad guy who just used it to kill a bunch of your people. But now they're mad at him. Meanwhile, Snake Eyes runs after the crystal, but he didn't blow up the dude. The dude got away, but Snake Eyes is on his tail, chasing him through the woods. It leads to a fight scene. And it also leads to them falling into the pit with the snakes. And it leads to the snakes ended up eating the bad guy because he wasn't pure of heart, and Snake Eyes is able to redeem himself, and that he is now clean and pure, and the snakes let him go. Because. So he's now honorable. So then we cut to, I guess, like they're in the dojo. And I guess everybody's cool with Snake Eyes, who betrayed the clan, got a bunch of people killed, stole their crystal, what else. So the Storm Shadow and the head of security personnel both kneel in front of the sensei. She's like, "Well, Storm Shadow, I strip you of your ability to lead the clan because you used the crystal to attack. Well, we're only supposed to protect the crystal. So you can stay in the clan, but you are no longer the successor that's going to take over my spot." So he gets all mad, blames Snake Eyes, and storms off and threatens to kill Storms. Okay. So he's kicked out of the clan just because he used the crystal to try to kill the bad guy who just killed a bunch of bad guys. But here, Snake Eyes, though, the guy who caused all this stuff to begin with for being a cocky dick. So there's a thing with the security person. He's going to go after Storm Shadow. Just keeps going after Storm Shadow. Meanwhile, Scarlet comes in again, like, "Hey, by the way, your dad was a Joe. He worked for all us, and we'd like you to work for us too," and all this stuff. So just find out that, hey, his dad was a Joe that was in hiding, and Cobra killed him. And before he leaves, though, the Ninja Clan's like, "Hey, he built you this battle suit, this famous Snake Eyes suit. It's for you to wear." So he puts on the suit, and they get on the bikes, and they take off. We'll talk. There's so much. Well, I'm going to unpack that more. Then they roll the end credit scenes, but then we quickly get the mid credit scenes. It's Tommy on a plane. All of a sudden, the stewardess comes up, and it's the Baroness dressed up as a stewardess, and threatens to kill her. But then he's like, "Hey," she's like, "Hey, we'll give you an army. Come work with us. We'll give you an army." That's where he says, "Call me Storm Shadow," which I guess I should mention at one point earlier in the movie, in this thing, there was a line that was said between him and the security chick. "You have that look in the eyes. In your eyes, the shadow before the storm." That was just one little throwaway line, like, "Oh, name drop, haha, cute." And then out of the blue, "Hey, call me Storm Shadow. I'm now Storm Shadow because, hey." And that's where it ends. Alright, so of the more lore, so Snake Eyes was always an honorable warrior. Stuck had a code. He had honor. And just more Storm Shadow was, the hot-headed one. So this at all didn't feel anything like Snake Eyes. This character was a dick. He was out for vengeance. He was a, double two-faced, working for the bad guys for most of the movie. Like, yeah, Snake Eyes is the a-hole in this movie. Storm Shadow for the whole movie is a really good, respectable, good guy. He's the guy you're rooting for in this movie. The whole movie, Storm Shadow, you're rooting for Storm Shadow. He's out there trying to make the world a better place, taking out bad people, trying to stop Cobra, trying to all that stuff. And he's the hero of the movie, really, not Snake Eyes. Like I said, then we have the forced relationship between Snake Eyes and the security chick, which did not feel that genuine at all. The Snake Eyes realization that Cobra was behind the death of his father. Yet, in the battle scene where where he does the whole Yo-Jo thing, where I said where they reunite with the chicks, he's like, "Oh, Baroness is working. What's she doing here? Oh, she's with us for temporarily." So he lets the dude live that killed his dad because he found out Cobra was the bad guy that killed his dad. Then at a later in the movie, Baroness is on their side working with them, and he's cool with it because we got to stop this dude. He's kicked that guy. He's the bad guy. He didn't have your father killed. The chick you just agreed to work with is working for the organization that had your father killed. Did we forget about that part? I guess we forgot about that part. The giant snakes in the pit that makes zero sense. Why does this ninja clan have giant anacondas that they use to do as their test thing? I mean, the directors say, "Oh, his name is Snake Eyes, so it means we got to do something with a snake." Did this guy even read any of this backstory that he said his stuff was based off of? The Storm Shadow turned. It felt like they were making this movie, and they got towards the end, and they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta make him a bad guy by the end of the movie. You use the stone, and your clan will get mad at you and strip you from your rig from using the stone." That was so effing corny. Like, that was the stupidest reason in the world for him to become a bad guy. At least in the original, it was because the sensei got killed, and it was blamed on him that caused him to become the bad guy. Like, this was such a dumb reason for that to happen. The Yo-Jo, which made no sense for him to say. I also gotta go to. They gifted him. The guy who betrayed them stole the crystal. Got tons of people got killed. They okay with it at the end, and they're cool with him. Whatever. They made him a special battle suit. Throughout this movie, their own people weren't wearing special battle suits. Like Storm Shadow and the chick, they were had some ninja. They had their ninja outfits and stuff, but it wasn't like the Snake Eyes battle suit. It's like, why did you guys? I mean, G.I. Joe would have gave him the suit. Scarlet would have gave him the suit. Okay, they are known. G.I. Joe has tech. Why would these guys have made some special battle suit to give Snake Eyes when their own people didn't wear battle suits in the movie? It's like none of it makes any sense. It's so ridiculously bad. Of course, also the movie ends with him still talking. So, and even with the Snake Eyes suit, he has his visor up, showing his face, and puts the visor down. But he still talks at the end, so he hasn't took his vow of silence or lost his voice or anything that you would think they would probably do. Because obviously they have a big-time actor. They're not going to want to strip him of that. If this series would continue, Snake Eyes is probably going to continue to show his face and talk, which is not at all what the lore of the comic book does. Which is okay, whatever. I get that. It's hard to do that now. Even The Mandalorian has episodes where they let Pedro Pascal take off the human helmet and show his face. The first season they kind of did it as, hey, we wanted to give him an homage. In the second season, they had him do it like in 2 episodes, and they set it up that for the ability for him to be able to do it anytime he wants, because they did come out and address the fact that it was just his personal choice that he did that. So I get that they don't, in the Marvel comic movies, those guys don't keep their face masks and stuff on all the time either. Spider-Man's taking his off all the time for all the bad guy fights. Thor like barely ever wore his helmet. Captain America. I mean, the only one, let's say like Iron Man's like the only one because they had it built in where they could always like do the close-up shot of him like from like the inside the mask. So that's the only reason I think it works for him that they got him, keep him in costume. But so I get that. You did, you get the big name actors. You want to show off the big name actors. I mean, a lot of these people don't stick true to it. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool's pretty kind of good at it. I was wearing a suit. I mean, he takes his mask off a lot too, but I could forgive that. So I could forgive. Okay, you want him to talk. You want him to show his face. Whatever. But man, they so butchered his story. This was an abomination on the Snake Eyes' lore from the in the canon. Like that was so drastic. You made him an asshole. Storm Shadow was the good guy through the whole thing. You came up with the stupidest reason to make him a bad guy. And even for that, he still was like, and then you still have him like join Cobra. Which, like, why would he still join Cobra? There's like no real reason for him to join Cobra. It's like, you've so weakly set up this universe. Like Scarlet was like just a glorified cameo. I mean, it was like Wonder Woman from Batman vs. Superman kind of cameo. At least Wonder Woman stole that movie when the parts that she was in. Scarlet does not. She was not. Like I said, that was probably the weakest performance in the movie was hers. Just kind of sad because I like that actress. I mean, other than that, most of the acting other than that was really great. Andrew was amazing. It's Tommy / Storm Shadow, and Henry, for what they wrote for Snake Eyes, did a good job. It was just what they wrote was trash. But yeah, this movie did not do what I hoped. It was not what I was hoping it was. I was hoping it was going to be good. And obviously, its box office, it made $13 million in its opening weekend. Came in second behind Old from M. Night Shyamalan. So I mean, obviously, people are already saying it, calling it a bomb. I mean, I don't know what I'd say as a bomb. I think I could say that was a pretty meh opening. I mean, if you look at the post-COVID, or I don't even know if we're technically post-COVID, the post-pandemic movies so far, we had Fast and Furious made $70 million its opening weekend. Black Widow also, I believe, was like $70 million. No, pre-COVID, before COVID, those movies both would have been, well, probably had over $100 million opening weekends. Space Jam, a kids movie starring LeBron James, one of the most popular athletes in the world, made like $31 million. So I think at best they were the Snake Eyes was probably hoping to make in the 20s. So I think it probably reached half of what their best expectations were for that. I mean, if Space Jam only got like 31 million, I mean, granted you could blame HBO Max for it. Maybe without HBO Max it would have made like 40 or so. But there's no way they could have been expecting Snake Eyes to bring in like a 40-50 million in this opening weekend. So I'm thinking it had to be closer to the 30 range itself. So we got maybe like half of what they were hoping to get, maybe. So 88, between 88 to like 110, depending on where you look it up for their budget. So I think it's only in theaters for 45 days before they put it on Paramount Plus. So yeah, I don't really know if it could break even. It might get close. So I don't know if. I mean, so contending. So end up being a bomb. It's potential at least. I think there's potential it could at least break even. But definitely a disappointing start to what we were hoping would be a new kickoff for the new GI Joe franchise. I mean, just follow. All you gotta do is follow the lore. This GI Joe. It's good guys versus bad guys and vehicles and stuff that blows up, and you can do such good stuff with it. It's just that's it. It almost feels like either A, they had this person came up with a martial arts movie they didn't think was going to sell, so they said, hey, let's throw G.I. Joe on it, and that'll buff it up. But I just feel like the director was like, we need someone to make a G.I. Joe movie. How about we'll give you this character? He's like a martial arts ninja thing, and the guy's like, oh, cool, I'm going to make a martial arts ninja movie, and that's... He like, well, let's see, what's the little basics of the hero? He's a this, he's a sensei, learns this. All right, well, we'll just take that and run with it, and I'm just going to do my own thing with the Yakuza, because it felt more like a Japanese mob movie than it did a G.I. Joe movie. Is it to me, like I said, for popcorn flick, outside of, if it was not G.I. Joe, it would have been an okay and alright watch movie. The G.I. Joe name tag on it puts more expectations on the movie, and it really sorely did not hit those. So, hard to say. I can't recommend it. Me and my brother went and saw it, and my other stepbrother was going to see it a couple days later, and I told him, like, dude, you're not going to like it. I'd wait. He has Paramount Plus. I was like, I just wait. I even told him, like, you might as well just wait to watch it on Paramount Plus, because it's not worth the theater. So, an 80s thing ruined. One of my childhood things just did not, it was a letdown. So on to the other childhood thing to watch, which will be another video, is Masters of the Universe on Netflix. Was it good? Was it bad? You find a lot of people say it. There's a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. But that's for another video. Once again, I give this a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story. Give it a 4. I wouldn't see it in the theater. I wouldn't spend the money on it. It's not very good at all. And until next time, Gacharo out.